All right, let's go ahead and start grand rounds. This is another grand round that every one of our graduating residents needs to do a grand round as part of their completion of their pediatric training requirements. So Suman Shekar is going to talk today about energy drinks. So let's hear it.
Thank you, Dr.
What you have to say.
Hello all. Good morning. So the topic, are energy drinks really a source of energy? And I was just saying all of you, thank God none of you got any Red Bull, Monsters, or anything like that. And let's start. So I have nothing to disclose, no relevant financial or non-financial relationships with any of the energy drinks. The objectives. Understand the size and scope of the energy drink market and recognize common energy drink brands. Know that adolescents are high consumers of energy drinks and use them as performance enhancers. Oh, the alpha males. Yeah. Adverse effects and safety concerns. Know the dangers of mixing energy drinks with alcohol. Understand the importance of screening teenagers for energy drink use in the office setting and offering appropriate counseling. Basically, what are energy drinks? Energy drinks are beverages that contain caffeine, taurine, vitamins, herbal supplements, and sugar or sweeteners. Marketed to improve energy, weight loss, stamina, athletic performance, and concentration. The buzz, the high drinks. So let's come to US market. So energy drink market brought in revenue of $5 billion in 2011, while in 2013 it jumped to $12.5 billion. And world market, like, it brought in more than 25 million in 2013. And more than 200 new brands were introduced into US in 2006. So the market's leading drink accounted for almost 49% of the revenue in 2013. And half of the energy drink market, like, consisted of adolescents, and mainly anyone less than 25 years old. And it targets adolescents, especially males. Marketing resources, they sponsor all these soccer teams, automobile racing teams, and extreme sports athletes. So in a survey of 800 college students, 39% of them drank energy drinks in last 30 days at the time of the survey. And you can see the Red Bull ad, the only shot that gives you wings. That's what they say in their ad. And coming back to the ingredients of energy drinks, if you pick up any bottle of Red Bull or Monster or any energy drinks, it says like caffeine. It varies from 150 to 250 milligrams moderately, and some cans contain up to 500 milligrams. And the next one is guarana, taurine, ginseng, sugars, B vitamins, and caffeine rarely is listed as an official ingredient in these drinks. So let's go ingredient by ingredient. So caffeine, it's the most commonly used psychoactive drug worldwide. Only psychoactive drug legally available over the counter to children. And it's an adenosine and benzodiazepine receptor antagonist, phosphodiesterase inhibitor, and a CNS stimulant. That's the reason we all have coffee every day in the morning. So what does it cause? It causes coronary and cerebral vasoconstriction, relaxes smooth muscle, stimulates skeletal muscle, cardiac chronotropic and inotropic effects, reduces insulin sensitivity, modulates gene expression in premature neonates, and it's a ventilatory stimulant with anti-inflammatory and bronchoprotective effects. It's also a diuretic. So low to moderate amounts of caffeine, that is 1 to 3 milligrams per kg, almost like 100 milligrams per day, causes improved exercise endurance, cognition, reaction time, and mood elevation with sleep deprivation. So 4 to 12 milligram per kg of caffeine. It causes some undesirable symptoms, including anxiety and jitteriness. Withdrawal symptoms can cause headache and fatigue. So intoxication, this is anywhere more than 15 milligram per kg or like more than 300 milligram per kg per day. So it causes nervousness, irritability, anxiety, insomnia, tremor, tachycardia, palpitations, and upset stomach. So regularly, like a 6-ounce cup of coffee contains 100 milligrams of caffeine in it. And 6-ounce cup of tea contains around 70 milligrams of caffeine. So how many cups is okay for us to drink? So adult per capita consumption is approximately 200 milligram daily. And moderation, they say like 300, up to 300 milligram is okay. Around 3 cups of coffee per day is okay. And nothing after 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So caffeinated soda. Like a 12-ounce can contains around 50 milligrams of caffeine. That is Dr. Pepper, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Coca-Cola, and all this, and contains 150 calories per can. So, and like a bar of caffeine and a bar of chocolate contains around 15 milligrams of caffeine. I kind of like this. So next ingredient, let's talk about guarana. So this is obtained from a plant, Paullinia cupana. It's a Brazilian cocoa which is grown in it's a South American plant, and it contains guarana, which is similar to caffeine, and 1 milligram of guarana is equivalent to 40 milligrams of caffeine. So when an energy drink lists its caffeine content, it's not usually taking this into consideration. This has a prolonged effect than an equivalent amount of coffee. So guarana has not been evaluated by the FDA for safety, effectiveness, or purity. Those are some of the pictures of the seeds. It just looks like coffee seeds. So next, sugars. Sucrose, glucose, or high fructose corn syrup varies anywhere from 21 to 34 gram per 8-ounce cans. So glucose combined with caffeine can synergistically enhance athletic and cognitive performance. The amount of glucose in energy drinks is similar to that found in sodas or fruit drinks. And we all know, like, risk for obesity, dental health problems as a result of high sugar intake. We always counsel our peds patients and the parents about this. So the next ingredient is taurine. So it's the taurine, the word was derived from Taurus, the zodiac sign, so which means bull or ox, as it was first isolated from ox bile in 1827. It's the most abundant amino acid in the human body. So it's most common ingredients in energy drinks. It's around 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams. So infants and sick adults do get it from diet or supplements. They normally do not produce it. It's present in meat, seafood, and milk. So daily recommended intake is 40 to 400 milligrams per day. Energy drinks contain like averaging around 1,000 milligrams. So taurine might minimize some of the adverse effects of alcohol consumption and could by extension encourage greater alcohol consumption. So ginseng. This is a root most commonly found in East Asia, Korea, China, and now is being grown in Canada and USA. And it improves athletic performance, stimulates the immune system, and improves the mood. So the adverse effects are insomnia, palpitations, tachycardia, hypertension, edema, headache, vertigo, mania, and estrogen-like effects such as breast tenderness and amenorrhea. So these are all the ingredients in an energy drink. So majority of you are drinking coffee. So let's get to the history of energy drinks. Energy drinks are an active subset of the early soft drink industry. The Coca-Cola was founded in 1884. So the two active ingredient stimulants are cocoa leaves and cola nuts. Cola nuts are a source of caffeine. And the next thing was, there was this federal lawsuit, United States versus 40 barrels and 20 kegs of Coca-Cola, they forced the Coca-Cola to decrease the caffeine content. This was in 1926. And after that, they started producing this Dr. Enough. And this was this first post 40 barrels energy drinks introduced in America. And apparently it is still being manufactured in Johnson City and is being sold in some of the shops. And in 1962, there was something called Lipovitamin D, which was introduced in Japan. And this was mostly for the hospitalized patients, and was introduced so that it could increase their energy and mood and all this. But anyway, it turned out to be a soft energy drink later on. 1985, there was something called Jolt Cola, and 1995, PepsiCo launched Josta. And this was the first energy drink introduced by a major US beverage company. And it was actually discontinued in 1999. And then they went back and started this AMP after that, the same company. And Red Bull was introduced in America in 1997. Monster drink, it was created by Hansel Naturals, and they started in 2002. Red Bull. This person, Mr. Dietrich Mateschitz, he was flying to Hong Kong, and finally he was thinking, okay, let's combine sugar and caffeine, and he founded this Red Bull. And he was an Austrian guy, and he started marketing in 1987. And after a decade, like, it was introduced in United States. And over 30 billion cans of Red Bull have been consumed till now, and more than 4.2 billion in 2010. I could not get the latest cans history though. Anyway, the 16-ounce bottle contains 160 milligrams of caffeine, also contains 202 calories. AMP. The 16-ounce one contains 142 milligrams of caffeine and contains 240 calories. And this is the one I was talking. PepsiCo introduced this brand after they banned their previous Monster drink. So 16-ounce contains 200 calories, contains 160 milligrams of caffeine. Full Throttle. So 16-ounce contains 144 milligrams of caffeine, 200 calories. So in 2004, there is something called 5-hour energy. This is the energy shot, and many of us use this. I have seen many of us using it. And this was founded by one of the, like, Manoj Bhargava, one of the Indian in origin. 2007, energy drink powders and effervescent tablets were introduced, and it could be added to water, and it could be turned into an energy drink. And in 2009, so industry has moved towards the natural stimulants and reduced sugar. All the diet energy drinks have been introduced. And in on August 14, 2012, the word energy drink was listed first time on Merriam-Webster's dictionary. So the 5-hour energy drink. So the 2-ounce, the small one, the 2-ounce bottle contains caffeine 157 to 206, anywhere from 157 to 206 milligrams of caffeine. And the extra strength one contains 242 milligrams of caffeine in it. And all the other ingredients I just spoke about. It contains taurine, tyrosine, caffeine, and all this. So for the zinc. So next, let's talk about sports drinks. What are sports drinks? How different are they from energy drinks? So this was one of the tables I picked from AAP, one of the articles, the recent articles, and it's very good. It actually differentiates sports drinks, enhanced fortified vitamin waters, and energy drinks. Like brand names, Gatorade, Powerade, these are all energy sports drinks, to rehydrate the body after intense exercise for more than 1 hour. And it contains glucose and electrolytes. It replaces lost electrolytes and carbohydrates during unsustained and strenuous exercise. It prevents dehydration. And that's the difference between energy drinks. It rapidly increases energy, endurance, and performance. That's the reason of their marketing. And it contains caffeine. That's the ingredient mainly. So let's talk about sports drinks, Gatorade. This was introduced in 1965. In 1969, it became the official drink of NFL. It was invented in Florida, specially designed for the University of Florida's football team, Gators. The aim was to replenish carbohydrates and electrolytes lost during the game. So this scientific project was successful, and the Gators won the Orange Bowl due to the enhancement of which the energy drink provided. That's what they claim. And so Gatorade has about 86% share of the market for sports drinks, with estimated annual sales of 750 million. So probably we need something like Tiger Drink or Tigerade or something like that for LSU Tigers. So Powerade was introduced in 1988. Powerade is a creation by the Coca-Cola company. Again, it provided competition for the existing Gatorade in the United States and now has grabbed around 22% of the market. And in 1990, it became the official sports drink for the Olympics. So in 2007, the Coca-Cola owned Powerade made around 250 million in sales. And the next drink is Lucozade. So this existed again as a medical supplement previously to increase the energy in the ill patients in hospitals in 1927. Again, it was like rebranded and advertised as energy drink in 1983, which increases concentration, focus, and alertness. And now it is converted into a sports drink. So, and apparently there was this study done and the results were published in the Journal of Sports Science in 1995 regarding Lucozade. So next, let's talk about caffeine with alcohol. I don't know how many of you have heard about this. The popular one is this one, Four Loko and Core and Tilt and Threesome and Juice, Max and all this. Anyways, so caffeine with alcohol. So energy drinks are also popular as drink mixers. So the Red Bull and vodka is a popular combination. And Four Loko mixes beer with caffeine. This was banned in 2010. And Kahlua is a coffee-flavored alcoholic beverage. So there was the survey of 10 universities in North Carolina, and quarter of the college students had consumed energy drinks mixed with alcohol. And the students were most likely younger, white, male, engaged in athletics, or members of fraternities, like all these house parties, and it's called jungle juice and all this. So how much alcohol is in an alcohol containing energy drink? So this is like if you pick up a bottle of wine or a beer, there's something like percentage written on top of it. What it means is alcohol by volume. It's one of the measure of amount of alcohol in that beverage. For example, like 12% in an energy drink can, 4 to 5% in a beer can, and 9 to 12% in a wine bottle. So what exactly does that mean? Alcohol by volume. So it means the percentage of alcohol in it. So let's see how many units does it come up to. So there's a formula, ABV, that is alcohol by volume by 1,000 times the amount of alcohol like you drink. So that gives the units of alcohol. So like for example, a large glass of wine might have like around 3 units, and 1 can of beer has like around 1.75 units of alcohol. So single shot of liquor approximately has like 1 unit of alcohol. So 1 can of alcohol containing energy drink around, that is 23.5 ounce, that has equivalent to 8.3 units of alcohol. That's approximately equal to a bottle of wine. So with that, in addition, we have like 500 milligrams of caffeine. That is like a 6-pack beer plus 3 cups of coffee. So mixing these caffeinated alcoholic beverages is like really high, and there's something called fully awake being drunk. So that is what we're talking about. Alcohol is a depressant and coffee is a stimulant. So they're fully alert, they think they can drive well, and apparently many teenagers and adolescents like this drink. So what are all the alcoholic energy drink names? So this was the most popular one, Four Loko, and it changed formula, and it was also banned in 2010. So Moonshot, Max, Juice, Rockstar, Spark, Still, all these were discontinued, but there are still 2 available. So that is called Mate Vesa and 3 AM vodka. So 3 AM vodka is a combination of vodka, caffeine, taurine, and guarana. So, I liked going and saying this. Crunchy protein boost. So caffeine and adolescence. Consumption should not exceed 100 milligrams per day. Like, I didn't really get this. For adults, it was like around 200 to 300 milligrams, and for kids, for adolescents, it was like 100 milligrams per day. I think it should be 100 milligrams per day for all of us. So anyway, whether the effects of caffeine in adults can be generalized to children remains unclear. And caffeine can improve attention, but it also increases blood pressure and sleep disturbances in children. And after cessation of caffeine in children who habitually consume caffeine, attention decreases and reaction time increases transiently. So caffeine may affect future food and beverage preferences, like boys, especially girls, they tend to be more obese and they tend to more caffeinated drinks, alcoholic drinks and stuff. So potential problems of energy drinks among children and adolescents. So the cardiovascular effects, I already did talk about this, like it decreases heart rate, increases blood pressure. It also causes sudden death, especially in kids with congenital heart problems and stuff. It has shown that it causes sudden death. And on kids with ADHD, it causes cardiotoxicity and sleep disturbances. And kids with eating disorder, this like regularly consume high amounts of caffeine to counter calorie restriction, associated fatigue, suppress appetite, and produces loose stools and diuresis. So the potential problems of energy drinks among children and adolescents to be continued, like effects on caloric intake and diabetes. So increases blood glucose level, BMI, calcium deficiency, dental problems, depression, and low self-esteem from being obese and stuff. So it caffeine also affects on bone mineralization, interferes with intestinal calcium absorption, causes calcium deficiency. So it can be significant in the morbidity in athletes, especially causes hypertension and palpitations, and diuretic effects can cause dehydration. And withdrawal symptoms have been reported in school-age children who drank as little as 120 to 145 milligrams per day. That is like 3 sodas or 2 cups of coffee. So energy drink users had heavier alcohol consumption patterns and were more likely to have used other drugs like marijuana. And adults who combine energy drinks with alcohol perceive less of an effect from alcohol, like wide awake drunk. This is what I was talking about. Caffeine is a stimulant and alcohol is a depressant. So it's called like the condition is called wide awake drunk. And this was a study done in 2008. This was called O'Brien study, and which reported 15% of adolescents mixed energy drinks with alcohol. And the reason was to drink more and not feel as drunk. This was the answers given by them. And 5% of teens did not want to look as drunk. So that was the reason for mixing energy drinks and alcohol. So, and many of us use energy drinks while studying. So, Okay, this was from Dawn Report, Drug Abuse Warning Network. This is a very good graph. This indicates, like, for example, if you see the ED visits in 2005, like it is 1,494 ED visits for anywhere like ED visits from energy drinks, like headaches, including from headaches to cardiotoxicity. So 1,494, and it bumped up to 20,783 in 2011 as per Dawn Report. So you can see that increase to 16,000 in 2008, and something happened here. But anyway, so the difference between the number of visits in 2007 and 2011 was statistically significant. If you see that the age is mostly like 18 to 25, the age of all these kids, like energy drinkers, was 18 to 25, and it was 7,322 in 2011 versus 4,200 in 2007. So it's on a gradual, like, increase, sorry, significant increase. So it is again the same graph showing the number of ED visits and adverse reactions to it. This one, this curve suggests the adverse reactions, and this is the misuse or abuse. So it just says that the number of ED visits is significantly raising year-wise. So what can we do? I think first we should stop drinking, and after that, so whenever like an adolescent comes to our clinic, we got to ask them, do they really drink energy drinks, and how many? If they say yes, how many, and what brands, and all this. Normally we do this heads interview whenever like an adolescent comes in: home, education, eating activities, drugs, alcohol abuse, sexual activities, safety, and suicide and depression and all this. So like, sorry, once we're asking about all these, we can ask about the caffeine intake, the energy drinks, the drug abuse, and we can include it in their eating habits and talk to them about it. So there's something called, this is one of the screening mnemonic. It has been validated by AAP now, and this is for the substance abuse basically. The questions are: have you ever ridden in a car driven by yourself or someone who had been using alcohol or drugs? Do you ever use alcohol or drugs to relax, feel better about yourself, or fit in? Do you ever use alcohol or drugs while you're alone? Do you ever forget things you did while using alcohol or drugs? Do your family or friends ever tell you that you should cut down on your drinking and drug use? Have you gotten into trouble while you were using alcohol or drugs? If they say yes to any of these questions, then like you got to educate them. So many teens will have no idea about how much alcohol and caffeine they're drinking. So we got to speak to them about this. So I have not been using this in my continuity care clinics. I didn't know about this craft, and I didn't know about these questions. So I think we need to start doing this in our continuity care clinics. And students who report consuming energy drinks mixed with alcohol were more than twice as likely to ride in a car with an intoxicated driver. They even did a study for this, and this was published in 2011, and AAP quotes this. And we shouldn't be underestimating the degree of intoxication, and we got to educate all teens, especially drivers and passengers. So as I said, we need to discuss this, the risk associated with energy drink consumption that may outweigh the benefits in adolescent consumers. And it contains high unregulated amounts of caffeine that may lead to significant morbidity like CVS, withdrawal symptoms, mixing with alcohol, association with substance abuse. I already mentioned all this. This is, just repeating myself to stress the importance of this. So primary care clinicians should be aware that abnormal vital signs, tachycardia, hypertension, insomnia, anxiety, palpitations, and headache are all potential effects of energy drink consumption. So children with cardiac conditions especially should be counseled regarding the risk of caffeine containing products, including irregular heart rhythm, syncope, dysrhythmias, and sudden death. So community partners including schools, athletic groups, and regulatory bodies also need to promote risk awareness. So long-term research objectives should aim to better define maximum safe doses, the effects of chronic use, and effects in at-risk populations. I like this cat one. So before we get into national and international energy drink regulations, that's what I was talking to Dr. Bukini in the beginning of my presentation. The first thing what we got to do here is probably inform our cafeteria about this and stop from our cafeteria from having energy drinks, especially the Monsters. I see so many residents drinking that, the Monster drinks. And there are some energy drink regulations worldwide. Let's talk about that. In Denmark, Turkey, Uruguay, Germany, like they have banned energy drinks. And Red Bull was banned in France like after a teenager's death. That was like a couple of, probably I think in 2002 or so. And Australia banned 5 drinks like with caffeine more than 320 milligrams per can. So in Norway, it is sold only in pharmacies, nowhere else. And Canada has a few regulations as well. And in here, in 2008, there were 3 states, Kentucky, Maine, and Michigan, who introduced legislation that would ban the sale of highly caffeinated drinks to children lesser than 18 years old, but the bills were defeated. And World Anti-Doping Agency, that is WADA, removed caffeine from its list of banned substances in 2004, but it's reconsidering it now. So like I got this information from AAP. This is one of the Marcy Beth Sneeder on behalf of AAP has submitted testimony in July of 2013 before Senate Committee on Commerce, Science and Transportation about energy drinks, exploring concerns about marketing to youth. Actually, you can go read this on our AAP website. It's like 12 to 15 pages, and he says like how energy drinks affects youth, and the core topics he mentions are caffeine and energy drinks should be actively and strongly discouraged for young people. Public education is necessary, more research is needed, and stronger federal guidance is necessary. This is what he talks about. So that's it. Any questions?
All right, that's a very thorough review and a lot of information that I was not aware of. So, questions?
My promotion response to a lot of this is I'm at the end of my career. And it seems every other time I come to these meetings, we're sort of told, we got to review this with them. If you add this up, and considering that pediatricians in practice have about 10 minutes per visit, how are you going to do all this and still make a living and pay your office overhead and pay your taxes, which is important? And I think this is something we have to ask is, are we going to be selective? Will we do it forever? And is caffeine an energy drink if you drink coffee? There's not many calories. How do you, is it a matter of concentration, or is it the presence or absence of a substance?
I think caffeine in large amounts can be considered like an energy drink. And
that sounds
we
like
could do in the waiting room, Dr. Herbs. That's a good idea though, but we could do the same thing. Like we could give the questionnaires, the crafts with screening questionnaire. We could do that in the waiting room. We could give the parents, like or the adolescents, and ask us to fill it out. So that's one of the options, and if there's a yes in any of the questions, I think most likely all of them will say yes.
The teenagers, you know you're going to get a 30% yes to one, at least a 30 to 40% yes to one of them. I'm not being critical, I'm just sort of, this is my curmudgeon response at my stage of, I think it's something worthwhile thinking about. We're supposed to also ask them about sex, and are you sleeping, are you deprived, and umpteen million other things. I'm just thinking, all of this was brought about because when the King of Poland and the King of France lifted the siege of Vienna, was it 1640 or something, they got in and they saw all these little beans. They thought these were fodder from the horses, but I guess it was a collaborator told them. But they said, gee, that's too bitter for us, so that they mix it with cream, and they had Café LA, and it became all the way up to England. It was the coffee houses. It was a big thing for the little area. So, you know, it all came in, and they did it because it could keep them awake for their 5 times or 6 times a day praying. That's how they got into it.
I think it is a dilemma for
Pediatricians or any primary care physician to sort of pick out the important things within the limited time that they have. And I think these screening tools sometimes help focus on something that you have to pursue, but it is difficult. Diana, you were going to?
Well, I learned a lot of stuff from this too, and I wonder how many parents don't know the stuff that we've just learned. And I agree with Dr. Herbst. I mean, certainly there's a limited amount of time to talk to the families about it, but I mean, even simple things. This is marketing by the companies. Right. They're trying to get you to buy their products. Some marketing can be done even in the waiting rooms, exam rooms, putting up posters and stuff, maybe to make the parents aware of what this is, and you know, at least bring some awareness to the downsides of these things for their kids, because I see, I'm sure you do too, little kids drinking this stuff. Mm-hmm. And I see my nieces drinking it, and didn't really, I had some concerns, but I haven't looked it up, so I've got more concerns now.
I don't mean to be negative, but maybe where we ought to lend our push is that maybe this ought to be discussed on the ladies' daytime TV, or the newspapers, and otherwise discussed, and encourage the information to get out there. I'm wondering if that's not maybe a better way where we can effectively put our efforts.
They don't want to do that because they're being sponsored by them.
Yeah, I know that. Well, sure, if you get enough, even the Olympics will buy in.
Yeah.
All right. Yes.
I agree with the former comments. I think increasing awareness and educating families are of utmost importance. And the time constraints are well understood. Probably, I mean, if AAP has prepared any educational posters, those could be used efficiently in the waiting rooms. And I think also utilizing efficient surveys when kids and families are waiting in the waiting area, and then using our support personnel, like the nurse, you know, maybe a nurse who will function as a counselor in the clinic, just like we are trying to model in our weight clinic right now. It's also amazing. It's just a different perspective. But when you are evaluating kids with overweight conditions, how often do you hear from the mother proudly, "Oh, I only give my child 100% juice," and they are not even aware of the sugar content in that. So awareness and education, and I think we can expand that. But with efficient strategies, even if we hit on 1 or 2 points each visit, I think that will be better than nothing. So we should, I think, keep trying and then share experiences and do better. But I think it's doable. We just need to concentrate on it.
All right. Other questions or comments? All right, Suman, thank you very much. Very thought-provoking.